Good evening, guys from Europe. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Piotr here, it's Liteforex Global YouTube channel. Tuesday, 22nd of December, and less than 1 hour to US cash close. Before we will start to go briefly through the few charts, I would like to take the opportunity, maybe it's your last market update ahead of the Christmas, ahead of the holiday. So I would like to take the opportunity to wish you guys, to wish your families all the best. Really wish you that the 2021 wouldn't be worse than 2020. So all the best here. Now let's go through the few charts. Market already slowed down, but anyway, few interesting things. So we started the day during the Tokyo session with Australian retail sales, huge beat, but boom, we are going lower. If you do remember, guys, I told ya that this is not the lower shadow you wanna buy, right? So there was quite few possibilities to try to trade it. To be honest with you, unfortunately, because what I've been waiting for, it was the measure between the high of the Friday and Thursday, right? Making it lower. I thought that we are going to at least try to make it higher and then sell off, right? So, and I've been waiting with the limit orders, and because it was in the middle of the night in the Europe, I haven't been filled. Anyway, what now for the Australian dollars? Where from here? The important thing is that, guys, it has to be hit and run, taking into the consideration very low liquidity coming to the market. Holiday season, you have to be extremely careful. Well, I'm not gonna be surprised if the market is going to try to make it as an over-under around 75 and the sellers towards 76.20, and that's what I would wait for when it comes to the Australian dollar for now. Of course, from the higher time frame perspective, Australian dollar is bullish, especially from the monthly chart, but there is a possibility of the deeper pullback. That's something I'm going to prepare at the very beginning of the year, the few charts from the higher time frame perspective. The next one, it was the final UK GDP quarter to quarter. Here we saw beat as well, 16 versus 15.5 market expectations, but of course, pound been driven yesterday by the Brexit news, right? And we were discussing that. I'm not gonna be surprised if we are going to see if we are going to see close the gap and then eventually from the higher levels lower, and buyers, there was a around the weekly open on the intraday chart. It's gonna be visible in a second. There was a buying opportunity as well, right? Of course, pound been driven today by the Brexit news as well, not by the GDP. So if you do remember, because of this weakness, we create this zone, and during the Tokyo hours, we made the dip, we made the rally. There was a plenty of liquidity and stop hunt possible move, right? And that's what we've seen, right? So if you are listening carefully, then congratulations. I've been trying to trade the pound also higher, but another attempt was not great from my intraday perspective. Then I've been trying to, after the move again below the weekly open, I've been trying to trade a little bit more. For now, well, we broke that zone, all right? But we hold this rally, right? So we are holding this base for now, okay? but I would be very careful, because right now this supply should be active, and this supply currently is active. If that would be completely different part of the year, if that would be the normal market day, that would be a possible short setup. Anyway, I would be very very careful, especially that there's still each and every day we can expect some Brexit news. So if you cannot monitor, for example, if you are like me in Europe and you wanna get a little bit of the rest, I would be careful with the Tokyo session with the cable. Overall, I think that the weekly high, weekly low, that's the levels, and the yesterday dictate the range, right? And finally, we got the final GDP out of the US, quarter to quarter, 33.4, 33.1 expectations, so beat here as well. So looks like Santa Claus delivered nicely when it comes to the data announcement. In that case, euro dollar, and here, well, I told you yesterday about the range, right? Very similar. So I told you that the range is wide, right? Around the Europe, deep, Riley, stop count, right? Depends on how you were trading the euro dollar, but I would like to show you one nice thing, because in my opinion still, as long as we are above this FOMC low based on the daily close, I still think this type of the move is possible eventually, right? Now, what I would like to show you, what is interesting, is another spot of the possible algo moves, right? But again, be careful guys, because if you cannot monitor during the Tokyo hours, especially when there is this gap after the US cash close before the Tokyo open, probably some of you, if you are longer on the market, you've seen some fireworks during this sleepy hours, and I've seen plenty of this type of the price action. So I would be very very careful here. You know, the attempt to clear the stops here and strong rally from that level after the stock on cannot be ruled out, right? But I like the sizes, right? And as I told you yesterday, I've been trying to explain you yesterday, guys, that the US guys are not gonna sell something been sold over the course of Tokyo and European session, right? So the same was with indices, and well, we will see. Now, tomorrow we do have during the Tokyo session Bank of Japan core CPI. Don't forget about those informations from the sources related to the Bank of Japan. 100 is the line in the sand for the Bank of Japan. So well, probably the hot money, the speculators are going to try to take the advantage and say check, right? It's like in poker game. Bank of Japan said it's gonna to defend 100, so market is going to say check most probably, and as long as we are below the post FOMC high, really we might see these levels. That's number one. Then European session is gonna be very very quiet in terms of the events, and the New York hours we do have Canadian GDP, we do have US durable goods orders, we do have personal income and spending, right? So and housing market, and revised the University of Michigan plus crude oil inventories, natural gas storage. So during the New York hours, that could be some kind of the movement. Don't forget about it. And when it comes to the indices, guys, also I would be careful. Eventually, we might not see deeper pullback yet. Why? Because next week, most probably, the first checks are gonna be delivered. So you know, so the smart money, they are going to wait for the buyers on the top. They have to have the other side of the trade. Of course, that's a conspiracy theory, right? Be careful and do your own research. Again, guys, it was my pleasure to be with you through the 2020. I'm gonna be still around, but for you it might be the last market update because, for example, you wanna spend the rest a few days with family or so. So again, all the best. Super holiday season is gonna be different than usual, but anyway, hopefully 2021 is not gonna be worse than 2020. As I mentioned, I'm gonna be around, guys. If something interesting happen, you can expect another update. With that being said, have a great rest of the day. Take care, goodbye, and see you around.